The next part of lesson 6 is splitting a clip, linking and unlinking clips, moving clips, and nudging clips. So when we talk about splitting a clip, we're considering using the full part of the clip, maybe something you already have in here. You still want the front part and you still want the back part, but you may want to put something in between. One of the ways to do that is we were on the selection tool. You want to come and get your razor tool or C on your keyboard, and I'm going to actually go here where there's 2 clips. If you just take this tool and click, it puts a cut there on just the one clip. If I hit Control Z and if I hold Shift while I'm making this cut, notice I get a double razor blade, and it's allowing me to make cuts to both video clips on both tracks all at once. Another way that you can make these cuts is you can come up to Sequence, and if you have a specific clip selected, you can choose Add Edit, so that would just do the one cut, or Add Edit to all tracks, and again it put all the cuts in just like that. And then if you were wanting to use your keyboard, you could use Control K, so Control K, and it also does that cut as well. So those are different ways to cut your clips. I'm going to go ahead and put one cut right here. And when we were up in the sequence ones, where the playhead is matters to where that cut goes. So I would have had to move it over here to use that technique. So be mindful of where the playhead is depending on which method you're using for splitting your clip. This here has just split this mid-John clip into 2 different pieces. One of the other things you can do if you're trying to remember where you have put cuts, if you click this in the settings, show through edits, it puts a little icon in there such as that. And then if you have your selection tool, if you come in here and click just the one edge, and you can see it highlights red, and you decided you didn't want that cut there, you can hit delete on your keyboard and it removes the cut. So that's another way to take it out if you couldn't Control Z it. So that's one of the other ways to get rid of a cut, but a lot of times adding cuts as you're starting to move stuff along will be helpful to you. Okay, so it talks about linking and unlinking clips. This is basically separating our audio from our video. So right now we have this chosen. It's picking up both the audio track and the video track. This here would be useful. For example, if I right click on this and go to unlink, now I can manipulate just the video versus the audio, and this here doesn't affect it at the moment. So if I needed this audio to become shorter and I needed to expand this audio out, I could then make that adjustment. So this clip's audio is coming over to this piece. I'm going to hit Control Z and put that back. Once these clips are unlinked, you can highlight them and right click them again and go back to link. So now they're connected again. So depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to get rid of a certain piece of audio or extend out a piece of audio from a different clip because you're catching that last S sound or another clipping noise that you need from one audio versus another, that would be a way to manipulate and make sure you have your whole audio track filled. I talk about this is because when you leave empty gaps, if for some reason you're recording in a noisy room and you all of a sudden have this gap in your audio, it becomes like a dead noise. And if you don't have any music hiding it, your listeners will notice that real quickly. Okay, so now there are other things to talk about as far as moving clips. It wants us to look here at this end clip. Make sure that the magnetic looking icon, this is called snap, is turned on. So blue means it's engaged. If it's grayed out, that means it's not. So turn that on, move this clip out to the right slightly, and then if you move it back slowly to the left, you'll notice it tried to snap to there, or it could snap to there. The book is actually wanting us to slide it all the way over to the end of this clip here. So it snapped to the end of that clip. When I let go, it has now replaced the video clip that was there. So this method of dragging clips basically is an overwrite mode. So just be mindful with that. But snapping the clips to the end, make sure your frames are lined up accurately. So it's a good thing to leave on. I usually leave mine on all the time. I hit Control Z to put that back. And we just want to make sure this gets back to its original position. So there it is, back in its original spot. Another way that you can move clips, and I'm going to add one more in here. I'm just going to drop a piece in from up here. So I now have this little clip. It's called nudging a clip. And what nudging is shortcuts on your keyboard. And again, this is something that will help speed you up with your editing skills once you start remembering these. So it's Command with the left arrow or Alt with the left arrow on Windows. The Command one was for the Mac. And this would nudge the clip one frame to the left. So if I hold Alt, since I'm on a PC, and hit the left arrow, notice clip is not selected, so it's not doing anything. You want to highlight it, hit Alt and left arrow. Notice it moved one frame from the playhead. And then if I do the right arrow, it will move it back one. If you add Shift in with this command, it will move it 5 frames either direction. You can also use nudge along with your Alt or Option key and use your up or down arrows, and it will move the clip on the timelines to a different setting. Notice that it does create this gap, so that may be harder for you to recognize which clips are connected. You can also left click and just drag clips back to where they were. But those are some shortcuts for clip nudging.